In defining a mortgage, I talked about the deed of trust. I said the deed of trust allows the lender to place a title lien on the real estate property, prioritizing their right to recoup the balance of the loan amount and any expenses involved in doing so if the borrower defaults on the promissory note. So I'd like to dispel a common misconception that I've heard many times. It's something like, well, if they foreclose, then the bank gets everything. Well, this isn't really how it works. In the event of a foreclosure and liquidation, the senior lien holder, typically the first mortgage lender, does get their money back first. Then any junior lien holders, in order of when they place their liens, receive what is owed to them, and whatever money is left over, if any, goes to you. So, as an example, let's say you bought a home for $500,000 and borrowed $400,000 with a mortgage agreement. Now, after a few years, the value goes up to $550,000 and the balance is only $390 because you've paid some down with your principal payments. But then you lose your job and default on the promissory note. You're forced out, the servicing company sells the property, let's say for $550,000, less the 6% the realtor gets, or the realtors. Then the servicing company also had to pay $25,000 to the lawyers, along with what was due over that time that you weren't making those mortgage payments, which includes the mortgage interest accrued. Let's call it $12,000, then $5,000 to the county property taxes, $2,000 to the homeowner's insurance company, and $1,000 to the HOA. Then the bank gets their $390,000, what the balance was. So in this scenario, even though you defaulted and there was a foreclosure, you'd still get a check for $82,000. However, let's say the economy tanked, and not only did you lose your job, but a lot of other people did too. So in that scenario, the house only sells for $450,000, and then the bank gets $378,000 of the $390,000 of the balance that they were owed. So the lender loses money, and yes, even though you only borrowed $400,000, and yet the house sold for $450,000, you get nothing. Now, whether you are a mortgagor or a mortgagee, watch my next video to learn how to avoid this problem.